Well, hello and welcome to my kitchen. This whole layoff thing, some days I have great days and some days I have shit days. And today is one of those shit days. So I took the rest of the day off and it's almost 11:30 right now. So I took the rest of the day off because what are they gonna do? Yeah, I'm just gonna clean my kitchen and can some stuff. And yeah, you can see my kitchen needs cleaning. And listen to a book until I feel better. So wanted to take you guys along with me. So like I said, I've gotten pretty deep into canning. I think it is incredibly fun. And I like the whole process of it. There's a lot of like planning and research and then execution. And then you just get to like look at the awesome stuff you made all the time. I really enjoy it. Because of that, like in canning and stuff like that, you buy in bulk oftentimes. And so about a month ago, I went to the farmer's market and I bought some apples in bulk to make some, let's go over here, to make some apple cider and some apple butter. And I had about 10 apples left. So I made my final round of apple cider. It's been going all night. Highly recommend doing this because then you wake up and the entire next day, and when you wake up, your entire house smells like apple cider. It's incredible. The apple cider recipe is actually the same one I shared last fall. And then same with the apple butter. So those recipes are on that video. I think it was Apple Fest. I'll link it down below. But what I also want to do today is I have a couple of roasting pumpkins that I want to roast and turn into pumpkin puree. I did this once because, listen, I'm a Libby's girl. I believe people when they say that Libby's is the best pumpkin, but I wanted to try it. And I made a really, really awesome pumpkin puree, like a roasted pumpkin puree. So while I have a couple more roasters, I want to get those done. And then since that has to be pressure canned, I want to fill my canner, so I might can some beans. So let's have a canning day, shall we? First, you have to clean this shit up. Oh, and the book I am listening to is called All Good People Here by Ashley Bowers. I have about 3 hours left in it. I listened to pretty much all of my books. Like a 5 out of 10. Editing Becca here can confirm 5 out of 10. It was fine. Also, kind of a tip for anyone who didn't grow up with stainless steel pans to like clean them efficiently, boil water in them. Or if they're like super, super dirty, do baking soda and boil, and like most of it will come out. I say most because like I really charred my pans like the first time, but like before I do that, so like I'm not sure if that's ever gonna come off. But ever since then, I've been able to maintain just the one char, not add to it. So a win, I guess. See? Just the original char. No new char. Okay, so kitchen is clean, dishes are put away, so now we can start on our canning and things. Now, on to one of my favorite things, making our list. So what I like to do is I just kind of like to write out everything I need to do and then kind of like try to find the most efficient order to do them in. It's one of the things I love about canning. It's just trying to like see the layers, see the times, and see how we can be the most efficient and get as much done in a short amount of time as possible, because we're at 12:09, the sun sets at like 4, so I would like to be done by like in about 4-ish hours. So we might be able to get it all done. All right, let's make our list. So here's how I set up my list. So first, I go through kind of everything I have to do, and then I categorize by like what type of canning. If there is different type of canning, which today I'm doing two types of canning, water bath canning and pressure canning. So I'm starting with the water bath canning because what's going in the water bath is gonna not take as long to prep. While I'm prepping the things that are going in the pressure canner, the water bath canning can just kind of like be going. So again, once I, do my whole to-do, I break into different categories, and then, actually, I'm not sure if you can read this okay. Let me flip this around. So I write everything I have to do, the different types, and then based off of like how long each thing will take, I then write my like what to start and when to do what. And then I get started. Really use a pot filler right about now. Ugh. Or I just need to start lifting weights. Purée no los dos, am I right? I like this part. So now we're taking butter and brushing all of the insides of the pumpkin with butter. And then the extra you're putting on the pan. Once your babes are all buttered, you're gonna sprinkle with some cinnamon. Oh shit. Maybe that much, not that much, but hey. It's fall, whatever. All right. You flip these guys over, and they are ready to go in the oven. These are going in for about like 45 minutes at 400 degrees, or until they're soft and all like perfect and roasty. I will say this will make your house smell absolutely perfect. You do not need candles, just roast pumpkins with butter and cinnamon. It's incredible. Okay, so I have my jars, a batch about this size, probably get like 3 or 4 quarts, and maybe 3 or 4 of these little, like, how many ounces actually? Like 5 ounces. So what I'm gonna do is, like, these just came from like the warehouse box, so they don't need to be sterilized, but I do want to heat them up because both the cider and the water are gonna be hot while my water canner is almost at boiling. I mean, I should have done this before, I just wasn't like thinking. I'm gonna go ahead and put my glass in there so it can heat up. And then I'm gonna start straining out the apple cider and get started on the apple butter. So I'm gonna use my canning tongs. I'm gonna get my jars in here. Just gonna heat them up so they don't crack. Like I said, normally I would do this when the water's still hot, but I just forgot. So not ideal, but here we are. Like I said, I just kind of like to roll it around the steam to heat it up first, and then get it in there and fill it. And we get these boiling, and we're starting on the cider. So my cider goes overnight, and now into the morning it's just been on warm. So now you have this like beautiful gold liquid and the apple pieces. So if you're just making cider, you can use like the apple peels as well. But if you want to do this cider and the apple butter, you're going to want to take the peels off. So here's exactly what I do. Okay, so what I'm doing is I have this little spider and a pot, and I'm just going to scoop out the solids into here. You want some liquid in there to make like a nice smooth puree, but not all of it. So just kind of take your time and get stuff over. It's so pretty, and it smells so good. All right, so we have separated out most of our salads, our cider, but there's a few at the bottom. So what I have here is just a stock pot, a mesh strainer, and I just kind of like tore open like a big steeping bag that I have for cold brew. And then I'm just gonna pour it through here just to get all of the final solids out. And I did a pretty damn good job at getting all the solids out myself. Okay, so things are bubbling. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna fill our cider jars. So here's the station gap. We have the jars in here that are gonna stay hot because our cider is also hot. We have a little like landing pad right here. We have our tongs, we have our hot cider, and then we have just like a little like funnel. What I'm also gonna get is some apple or some white vinegar to like rinse the rims as well before I put the lids on, and we're ready to go. Okay, all 4 ciders are in, lid's going on, and I'm setting the timer for 20 minutes. Allegedly. There we go. Oh. Boop. There we go. Alrighty, so next is our apple butter. So the apples kind of taste like cinnamon, but nothing, because the cider, like, we are extracting all of their flavor from the cider. So what we're doing is we're adding flavor back in the way of brown sugar, some honey, pumpkin spice, and cinnamon, clove, and salt. So that's what I'm doing here. And then once all the sugar is dissolved, we're pureeing it so it's super smooth, and then getting in some cans and getting in the water bath tube. All right, it has been 20 minutes and it is time to take our cider out. Always make sure to open the lid away from you. Out. Beautiful. Yay. Beautiful. Just before lunch, the pumpkins are out of the oven. I'm gonna let them cool down a bit. Oh, good stretch. I'll let them cool down a bit, and then we have our pressure canning next. All right, 20 minutes is up on our butter. Get these cans out. Cute. All right, now on to our next round of canning. So I'm gonna do the pumpkin puree, and then I'm gonna do some beans. So first step is to peel these pumpkins and make them a puree. So here is all of our roasted cinnamon pumpkin. Now, to make it a bit smoother, and because I don't use pumpkin for any savory recipes, I'm gonna add some maple syrup. Just, excuse me, just so I have like some liquid in there to make it, the puree a bit smoother. All right, we are in the home stretch. Next are beans. I had to look up, I've never canned beans before. So first we're gonna wash the beans. I am actually doing a bean blend because we make refried beans here fairly often. And so I am actually gonna do a blend of pinto beans and black beans. So the process essentially is you rinse the beans, you add some seasoning, fill your jars with hot water, you pack them, you water can them, and the pumpkin puree and the beans take about the same amount of time, so they're all going in together. And yeah, I'm gassing out, so I'm just excited to get these in the water canner, so let's go. Or pressure canner, so let's roll. All right, so I'm filling them with water, and then I'm scooping out any beans that rise to the top and getting rid of those guys. All right, so the next is just following pressure canning instructions. So I have cold cans, I have cold jars, so it's gonna be a cold canner, so not hot water. Adding 3 quarts in here, and then I'm gonna put the lid on, and then once I have consistent steam, I'm gonna get it to 10 pounds of pressure, and then the beans are gonna go for 90 minutes. All right, it is the next day. We need to finish up our canning from yesterday because I got a little overconfident with how many beans I wanted to make. So I had to kind of put a stop point to that. But here's the result of our first round of beans. So we got 5 successful cans of beans. Now remember, this was a mix of pinto and black bean because we make most of our beans refried beans. So you see, they're pretty mushy. I think the black beans, because they were a little smaller, got like kind of straight up squished. But these are gonna be perfect for refried beans here. We did have 2 cans that didn't seal properly. You know that because, well, one, the can, like the lid is domed, but also you can hear it. So let me show you what that sounds like. So here's our 5 cans of beans that worked. You see that the lid is like in, and it's like a nice tight sound. And then over here, You see the lid is not sealed all the way down and it sounds like way lower. So this is nice and tight and compressed. Sealed, did not seal. Now, those are still like good and ready to go. You just have to put them in the fridge or the freezer to keep them. I am not gonna try to can them again. We have more cans of beans. Now these did soak overnight. And I did put these in the fridge so they are cold. Same with our pumpkin over there, that needs to be canned. So these are gonna go into a cold canner with cold water so everything heats up so we don't have any jars breaking. So let's get canning. Okay, so we have our 4 cans of beans and our 4 cans of pumpkin puree. Like I said, these cans are cold. So this is a cold canner and cold water. And I'm gonna put the lid on, bring it up to temp, and pressure can these guys. I'm only gonna do it for about 60 minutes because that's how long the pumpkin needs. And the pints, and also these beans have been soaking overnight, so they don't need to go as long like the straight dry beans. So let's see if they all work. And there we have it. Took a few days, actually, to get everything done, canned, labeled, and put away. But here we are. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of like chill and can video with me, and see y'all later. Hey guys, editing Becca here. So it's been almost 2 months since I shot this video, and I, am doing much better with the whole severance thing. I'm essentially retired and making YouTube videos now, and it's awesome. But 2, I just wanted to give you like an update on all of my cans. So here's the majority of what I canned that day. I've got cider and the refried beans. Now, I will say doing these refried beans has been awesome. So we've used about 3 or 4 cans so far, and it just makes it a lot easier. The black beans did get like really squished down, but hey, whatever, it's refried beans, it's all supposed to be squished. One thing I would not do next time is add bay leaves. I think the bay leaves made it honestly a little bitter. So I would just take those out next time. The cider is obviously delicious. We didn't use nearly as much as I thought because I thought I was going to take some home for Christmas and I forgot. But hey, whatever, we've got a lot of stock now. We also did some pumpkin that day, again, which I intended to do for some Christmas and Thanksgiving baking, but I was either sick or out of town, so now I just have some wonderful pumpkin reserves. So that's just a little update on what I canned that day. And I hope you like this video. I'm gonna have a lot more just kind of like casual, come cook with me, come meal prep with me, etc. videos coming at ya, because hey, I've got time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.